Hello everyone! We last saw how Juggernaut called the X-Men to help him fighting and containing his friend Black Tom, who was affected by a virus, which turned him into a swamp thing. Juggernaut and the X-Men barely managed to escape getting drained and killed by Black Tom, who eventually knocked Juggernaut into the water, forcing Sammy to dive and to help Juggernaut before drowning, forming a new friendship between the two. Charles Xavier took Sammy to his school and invited Kane to stay as well, but good times didn't last for long for either Kane or Sammy. In the Uncanny X-Men number 422, the Canadian super team known as the Alpha Flight break into Charles' school, demanding to relinquish the custody of all the children in their care, or they will have them removed by force. Charles calls his lawyer and reports the unpleasant situation, explaining that the Alpha Flight want to take the children because they claim that their safety will be at issue staying with the X-Men. The Guardian tells Sasquatch to find Sammy, because as a Canadian child, he's the only reason why the Alpha Flight is there in the first place. The attorney explains that the governor of New York has determined that the children's lives are in danger. Therefore, he has the authority to step in and remove them from the X-Men school. Sasquatch then interrupts Charles and asks him about Sammy, who at that moment is playing catch with his friend Kane. Sasquatch interrupts their game, causing Kane to become offensive, calling Sasquatch hairball and asking why he is after Sammy. Sasquatch tells Kane to stand aside and to give him the boy, while Charles urges him not to resist and to let them take Sammy, explaining that there seems to be some questions about the children's safety at his school. Kane reluctantly accepts letting them taking Sammy, but feels suspicious again, and asks Charles why he's letting them taking the kid, and the attorney answers Kane that it's because Sammy is playing catch with a wanted criminal. Kane becomes upset upon hearing that, while Puck tries to take another young mutant whose name is Carter from his mother Annie, the resident nurse at the school, by force, telling her that by resisting, she is making things worse, and that someone is going to get hurt, and that's when Kane interferes and knocks Puck down with a powerful punch, before telling Annie to get into the mansion with the kids. Guardian then asks Sasquatch if he can take out Juggernaut, and Sasquatch is confident that he can, telling Guardian that he feels offended by his question. The two powerhouses rush at each other with great force, where Sasquatch lands a powerful blow that removes Kane's helmet and smashes the ground beneath them. The blow distracts everyone, including the Alpha Flight member known as Vindicator, who is about to take Carter, allowing Iceman to interfere and to contain her in his ice. Vindicator says that they have a legal right to take the children, and that Charles didn't answer Sammy's mother's calls, who is concerned about her son befriending a criminal like Juggernaut. Kane, who gets damaged from the punch, hears what she says and gets up for round 2, but Sasquatch tells him to wait. Kane, however, says that he doesn't stop, because he is the Juggernaut, and knocks Sasquatch flying with a powerful punch, forcing Earthmover, who has the potential to control everything which originates from the Earth, to cast a spell, and summons giant golems to fight Kane. Iceman shoots ice spears and destroys one of these golems before knocking down both Puck and Earthmover, and destroying the police cars as well. Kane engages the golems and manages to shatter a golem's arm, but the other hits him hard with great force. Sasquatch then attacks and punches Kane, who retaliates with another punch, but it's not enough to stop Sasquatch, who punches Kane hard in the guts. Charles' lawyer then talks to the attorney and tells her that if she doesn't call her hounds off, he will go to the press and exposes the governor for being an anti-mutant racist, who is politically motivated to shut down the school because of his monetary connections to the Church of Humanity and their spiritual leader, who happens to be a former federal suspect. Meanwhile, Kane and Sasquatch continue their fight, without having a clear winner between the two. Sammy then interferes and says that he will go with the Canadian authorities, remarking that it was his fault for telling his mother about being friends with Kane, saying that he doesn't want Cain to get hurt anymore because it's not worth it. Cain gives Sammy a hug before letting him go, promising that he will always go and see him, and will always be there for him. Charles then tries to condole Cain, but Cain tells him that he doesn't need to hear any of his crap, because if any of it were true, he would have never let Sammy go back to the hell he calls home. For you who wonder why Juggernaut gets beaten this way, Satarak explains that in these situations, he is not the one who restricts Cain's power. It's rather Cain's denial of himself as an avatar of destruction, which restricts him. In other words, Juggernaut means destruction, and not befriending Sammy or getting along with Charles and the X-Men. This is not bad writing at all. This is Cain Marco ignoring who he really is and suffering the consequences. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. Thanks for watching, and have a nice one.